I should do. So I'll try to do this. A central line in the top. So try to do overall bounding box. This again, kind of solving the design issue. So it's pretty clear that this kettle slightly kept cross, right? You're seeing this side of the surface more, right? It's not perfectly side view, slightly tilted, right? Right. So draw any one thing first. That will be your measuring scale, and then use it for the rest of the object. You know what I mean? So use this one as a measuring thing, right? So use the same distance for this one, 2, 3, 4, right? It's actually 1/4 of the entire thing, right? Just use that, because this is the same method we're going to use for the human, right? So what is the measurement here? So 7.5, the same head we're using. Okay, 2 heads, 3 heads, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7.5. In fact, we go for the 8 for actual a little more heroic proportions. Then you know, okay, so the second comes the nipple area. So half of that for the shoulders. So second it comes here. The third it comes in the navel, I believe it, what you call. And fourth head comes in the crotch area, right? And the fifth comes slightly above the knee. The knee comes exactly in between 5 and 6. Yeah, slightly above your feet. So this is how you do the measurement. So same thing we are using for this one also. So you just find one thing which can help you to, like, get the overall proportions right. And then elbow comes navel, slightly below the crotch. Yeah. Anyhow, let's come to this thing. So 1/4. So in the beginning sketch, what I've done, so right now just 1/3, right? Less than 1/3. So it has to be even more longer. Then I have to stretch it even more. So next comes slightly above this thing, right, where the design is. So then I do that. So while doing that, I'll see how much is coming out from this one. Let's say if you have this handle, yeah, let's try to this. So don't worry about your final result while doing this. I just try to think while doing these things. I'm trying to understand what is here. I don't want to, like, give a good result right now, but I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to learn what I'm doing. So just think that I don't want to like finish this. I'm okay to scrap this drawing. So draw that way. It comes almost exactly middle of the belly of this one, right? 1, 2, 3, and then 4.
Sir, one doubt, sir.
Yes.
So since the jar is slightly tilted, so while drawing the lines, the
Mm-hmm.
horizontal lines, we make it slightly tilted as well. I mean, should there be an angle or we should draw it?
So this one,
Yes,
horizontal lines,
yes, sir.
I don't think so. It depending on the camera angle. But right now, see the camera angle, see it's almost a side profile view of this. For example, so right now our camera is here. Maybe if the camera is something like this, then it might change. Right now almost straight. There's no much change. And again, so this object, if you see from top, so most of circle objects, they fit in a cube, right? From the top view, fit in a cube. No matter how much they rotate, so this two ends doesn't change, except the handle. Because if you remove the handle and remove the funnel, it's same everywhere, right? So only this funnel and then the handle gives a feel that it's tilted. So the sketch will be perfectly symmetrical. That's why I'm confidently drawing a center line. I'm doing all these things. And
Okay.
does it answer your question?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking when if we take perspective into view, then will the left side be a little larger than the right side?
That's a good question, actually. Yeah. Yeah. So that might change. Yeah. So again, that's completely depending on the camera angle and then the focal length. So if you go for less focal length, less focal length is like, more like a fish eye, right? It makes our object more spherical. Lesser focal length you have, it looks more like an isometric. It doesn't have any perspective actually. So that's how it works. So there also, it won't happen for the symmetrical surface. So this kind of surface, what do they call? Like this revolve, right? So this doesn't change. Maybe if you have a box, that might change. A boxy object, that might change. Because let's say we have a cube from the top view, it's a cube. So the cube, when you see from exactly 45 degree, it might look like this, right? But when we tilt a little bit, then you're right. This side will become more, other side will become less. Even though it's a cube, the camera angle matters actually. Yeah, this will become big, this will become smaller, and vice versa. When you're rotating this side, so this will become smaller. Still, it's a cube. Yeah, so this happens. But the circular, it's circle inside this. No matter whatever you do, it doesn't change.
Okay.
Circle is circle. So that doesn't change.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I made this curve a little too much. I'm reducing the curve. As I told you, I'm drawing really, really rough so that I can correct more stuff. Slightly curve. I'm trying to figure out where does it lines up, right? Look at the height, exactly off. This is the technique Arjun uses, I think. Arjun just use the points, dots to like figure out where the things are.
No, so now I'm using this method. So
Okay, the lines method. Okay, good. This is pretty much a grid method only, but I'm just doing random grid according to my convenient, right? Trust me, guys, observation is the biggest asset which you're going to have when you become an artist. Many people lack in observation. Many people lack observation. If you guys can improve observation, you're going to be really amazing. Because most of the art directors in the movie, what do? They look at the artwork, they look at the sketch, and they're giving feedback. They're going to say same thing. Hey, look at the gap here. Look at the gap here. Because that high ordinary people don't have. Because they didn't spend enough time on doing that observation. So those guys are like art actors only because they spend a lot of time on doing that. Of course, they learn a lot of other stuff, but that's one of the key thing. And then they do same thing every day because an art director's a typical day is uh, starting in from the morning from the client meeting. So they go to every department, modeling department. They look at the models. They talk about the shapes and forms. Hey, that shape is not matching. This shape is not matching. Match it. When they go to texturing department, the same model will be colored. Hey, that color is not matching. This color is not matching. So increase the saturation of the red, decrease the saturation of the green. Yeah, good. The same thing, the feedback they give when they go to lighting department. So that's a job for the entire day. By doing same thing for the whole day, the observation improves like anything actually. Yeah. So it's really worth working on observation and improving stuff. Right. I'm doing this and see how much is sticking out of the main body. Right. It's even more out. Right. Really messy. I don't care. I don't even jump for the design that early. So now it's time for me to clean up. Can you guys hear me?
yes, sir.
Okay. Cool. So I do a bit of cleanup. Yeah. So now I get the point. What Saranya was asking. Saranya. So I got what you're trying to ask. So something similar to that I found right now. So this design, right? So if you see this design is bigger in this side, smaller in that side,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah. So that happens only if you have the design like this. Let's say there's no design, there's no perspective. It's all same. If you see above is design, but the design is more of a uniform. Everywhere it looks the same. So probably the middle portions looks bigger and gradually they reduce. But overall shape doesn't change much. But here, yes, this does change. It gets bigger, it gets smaller other side. But you should know how to draw that, getting the wrapped around feel. Yes.
And even in the neck region, right, sir? The designs
Mm-hmm.
which is there in the right side,
Mm-hmm.
the petals
Mm-hmm.
kind of design. So that is
Mm-hmm.
larger
Mm-hmm.
and it is more spread in the right side, and it is more congested and smaller, looks smaller in the right side. So there I got the doubt if the plane is tilted or if it is straight.
I think that's a good point. Let's see how much. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 here on the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have same number of petals on either side. So only thing the right hand side looks more congested because there's a less light.
Okay.
So when there's a less light, what happens? These the grooves what you have, so light can't enter in those areas. So that looks like makes it like more like congested. On the right hand side, there's a lot of light, so you see light entering in all the grooves. Right? See in this side, can you see the grooves on the left hand side? Right?
Yes,
You
sir.
cannot see you can see the grooves because light entered through all the grooves because they facing towards light. But in this case, light can't enter to the grooves. That's why the line's looking much closer and it looks more busier. But if you come to and see gradually the dark increases and kept on increasing because slowly they're going away from the light. So more darkness enters into that. But actually the number of things is same.
Okay.
Yeah. But good observation. So there's a nice design there, but I'm not doing the design right now. I'm just still doing the bigger strokes. See how much time we need to do only with sketching. See, in the beginning, I did like 3 balls. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. That means I'm taking a little more closer look every time. And see, it has a nice petal shapes here. Just because of it's almost side view to us in the camera, you cannot see the petal shapes. But still, I just do the one big shape for the petal, not the individual one. So it has total 4 petals, I think. One is in the front, 2 in either side, one should be in the back side. It has a nice upside down petal shape. This you must have seen in most of architecture, you know. They call it Batma. Batma means lotus petal. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 means, yeah, 3 in the back, 3 in the front, 2 in the side. So total 8. Right, one for the top, other one for the junction. This one more thing comes down, and then the actual curve starts. Oh. No, I think it looks a little bit asymmetrical. Yeah. It's mostly coming straight and going curve. straight and going curve. And even it's almost flat, very, very subtle curve because of the camera angle. So I do central line and then equally split. So I think there's 7, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's almost. So gradually the size reduces because they're going away from camera. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, I'm giving more number of assignments to make your day more productive. Even if you guys take time and then do just one beautiful thing, you kick ass, I'm fine. Just imagine this much alone, this time spent for every sketch. Let's say one sketch you take half an hour. How many you can do? I can easily do. So for sketch, half an hour. For the shading and lighting, you take 45 minutes. For fully finished, you take 2 hours. It's a perfect day for you guys. And then see where does the center point of the design comes. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth. So that's where that design comes. And then where does this comes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's where this thing is coming. Right. And then see where does this design comes. Slightly lower in this region. Yeah, it's really tough to draw this and see how much it goes down. It's going this much. Starting from here, a nice S curve, and then it comes in this area. So you have to draw such a way, it's wrapping around the surface. Not this, right? Like this. You know what I mean? If you're drawing a design on a flat surface, it might look like this. It's the same thing. If you rotate the surface, how does it look? You should be able to feel this, right? The same thing happening here. one big design. See, I'm always trying to do bigger shapes, not the micro details, and then filling the negative space. See, roughly marking negative space so that the design pops out. Let's see where does this design comes. It's as big as the handle, right? So draw as a one big shape. Always think simple. Such a complex object, if you break it into simple few steps, it's much easy to do. If you're blindly copying everything, you misses all the informations. And these are all negative space. Yeah, roughly mark it. Same design here. Try to feel what kind of surface it is. Let's say the rough sketch sort of done. So the bottom design, we don't know how does it look like, but still you can do the same design by replicating what is there on the top. Even if you can't do the same design. So try to replicate. This is a kind of design approach you need to figure out. So let's say if it's coming like this. Let's try to finish it in same area. Maybe to avoid the repetition, I use the top one here. Turn big. Maybe a design, replicate design here. So you should never get stuck when you don't have information. Yeah, cool. So what is the next step? What is next step?
Half tone.
Yeah, so marking the half tones. Yeah, this is very, very hard. There's so much things going on. So much of design, so much of light. It's very hard. So squint. Immediately you see that all the design will fade. Only bigger designs will stay, but you can immediately see the shadows. All this area is more shadow. It's all in dark, some highlight here. Yeah, that's it. What's time right now? 3:40. So I'll use other brush to fill things faster, pastel. So I'm leaving the highlighted areas. Yeah, don't do it like me. So I have the technology help to do these things. So you fill it properly like how you do in a paper. Let's see if we can do one class like live recording of a paper. That'll be more fun. I love doing the paper than digital. Yeah. So right. So after one is filled. So what's next? What's next, guys? Now slowly increase the values a little more step by step. Some slowly increasing value here. So it's more like I'm having a sharper pencil. Some more value there. There's a core shadow, right? There's a core shadow here, there's another core shadow there. I'm taking the negative space of the design because they're all having more noise. Just imagine when they do this thing, it's all carving, right? When do the carving, so all the negative space, it'll be having more noise. This more noise, light you can't reflect from there. But if you see it outside, they're shiny because they use a lot of polishing using sandpaper or a steel wool, whatever. So that's actually making these things having more reflective than the negative space. See, negative space having much lesser reflection because of the heavy noise what they've got there. Because they want the design to pop out, so they make a lot of noise in these regions, so they become less reflective. Increasing value overall. More noise there. More shadow, more shadow, more shadow. More shadow. Okay. Let's jump onto detail directly. So there's a groove. So that's not a shadow actually. The dirt accumulated inside the groove, so that you cannot wash it, no matter how much you wash. So the dust what is accumulated inside that groove, it can't be cleaned unless you do an acid wash, right? So that's actually looks more darker there. I think there's some design. I think it's got slightly broken here and there, I guess. And once again, make this one flat object. Yeah. Okay. So it ends here, and that's connecting to this piece. See the negative space there. It's light entering there. That's the highlight here. Highlight on the top. And then more darkness where the lid and then the main thing joins. And here you see core shadow in the middle. Because of the reflection of this one hitting on top and vice versa. It's hitting both. Because this curve. So there's the reflection here, right? More darker here, more core shadow here, more core shadow. And then top and bottom having some shadow. But this has more reflection because both are hitting each other. That's what you see there. So that understanding you guys need to develop. So what all you guys are learning, so try to find in the reference. Since we don't have much time, I just focus on a small portion. Again, some highlight here, some highlight there, non-highlight on the top, some highlight here, some highlight in these regions. This actually shows it's climbing up and going down. See some highlight, highlight, highlight. So more you see this, your observation slowly improves. If you see there's a line coming here. So it has, it's actually like this, right? So shadow here, light in the bottom, the middle, because the line has been done like, hitting every time by the metal tool, that's formed that line, right? So how to get that? So upper half, there's the shadow, the bottom half has a highlight, and then you have to show the small grooves. Because you just need to think like every craftsman, right? Whoever makes it, like how do they make it? What tool they use? How do they get these things? You just, as an artist, you start thinking in from their point of view. Let's say tomorrow you're creating a furniture, then you should think like a carpenter. Okay, what all would have been done? What is the logic behind connecting these things? What is the logic behind getting the design? What sort of tool you must have used? You will be playing a role of almost every person in this life. Design garments, yeah, you should think like in a tailor or a designer. Let me quickly jump onto this. More groove. More groove. So it's more like that surface, right? So having slight shadow to show the bulge. On the left hand side, light is coming. So, right. So you can feel that roundity there. And this edge is receiving some highlight. So just show bits and pieces everywhere so you can do the rest of the piece. So more dust accumulation in the grooves, because brand new might not have it, because it's used for like many years. That's why there's so much of dust. This is the peak. Right. Yeah, so that'll be keep going. And while drawing, I mean, while carving, if you see one is longer, smaller, right? Because this is most of a man-made stuff, right? So there's a lot of unevenness. Let's jump onto the design portion. Some more shadow, some more shadow. Yeah, highlights. Okay, so these are all more like, let's say he has this metal tool, really sharp metal tool, and he has this right hammer. So they keep on hitting. So that's how they get a lot of right. Even to get a curve, they hit so much dot 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 dot. It's actually formed that, and then more they go on top of it, you get the more sharp groove. So simple noise here. So watch videos, how do they do these carvings, get an idea how do they do it, then you get a better idea to paint or draw this. And you can see it has, there is an S volume to it, right? So light is hitting, more light here, more shadow here. The second design here. You can see a lot of dot, 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 dot going here. A small round. A lot of slick micro lines are going. They're not connected lines, a lot of like broken lines. I'm doing a lot of like small lines to get that etching feeling. There is some bunch here. It's receiving some light. See, there is some light here. Light, light, light. More light, but it'll be more subtle, not so bright. This line has been carved in the middle. So still the core shadow you can see here, the middle. That's why other side you see some reflection. the other side. Just imagine the mirror of this other side. Again, more carving there. Yeah, so same approach gonna continue for the rest of the thing. Maybe we are past 4. Maybe I'll spend another 5 minutes to show this highlighted area. So I don't think we need this much of brightness. We can fill with overall a mid-tone and then we can erase. Yeah. So let's take from this design. So you can see more darkness because of the carving. You just think you're doing in a carving in a paper. Think exactly like the smith. How you must have carved it. Now how hard to carve these things. It's not easy at all. This is much harder than doing a stone carving or a wood carving. But they won't that easily chip off. And we don't have to go so much of sharpness in those areas because it's all really, really subtle. Don't worry. Keep it very subtle. You just enjoy the process. So don't think that okay, I'm doing an assignment, I have to finish it, I don't have time, I have to finish it faster. So once you get into it, it's hard to come out of it. I don't know how many of you guys can feel it. Because in the beginning I was trying to solve only the problem. I never thought of finishing this. I thought of the problem of the sketch. You know how rough the sketch looks. It was looking so bad actually. And then the next level problem solving, I started cleaning up. Yeah, and then as I'm trying to figuring out the light, I'm sure how does it reacts actually, and slowly I start thinking like how the carving must have been done. So I got into that thought process. That's actually kept on growing. I'm just going with the flow. So that's how you can get the result also in your artwork. Some zigzag pattern there done just to fill that negative space. So more shadow on this side. Some highlights. And some more darkness. Coming here, and another carving has been done. So basically, the hit. So it forms a lot of dotted lines, and you go one more round. So it became line. Go one more round, almost 3-4 times to get a one strong groove. That's how they get the one groove. So just think in same way and do it. There is some design here. And if you see the lines also, I'm deliberately shaking my hand so much that I get that imperfection, you know. I'm not drawing a really clean line. I'm trying to draw more like this so that I get the feel of etching, you know. Because when you hit, that's how the line forms. You cannot just do it more like this, how you do in a clay. In a clay, it's easy to just take one groove and do it. But here it's all metal, right? A lot of textures. And these areas need more shadows because where the core shadow is. And if I squint, I could see lots of light here. I'm trying to tone it down. These areas. It's mostly in this middle. Right, so that's the area should receive more light. And I can do a little bit of touch up with a little less value. some highlight you see in this section. Right, let me quickly finish it off. This once you fill with like more dark, you just need to show some definition of the designs. Okay, you don't have to draw design everywhere because they're all hidden in the dark. Some sort of light here. See, subtle light just to show the popping out. Be very, very careful not to go too much highlight because the focus should be mostly on this region. Okay, it's a core shadow. Then some shadow here. Core shadow spreads more. And then you see some decorative there. So main shapes and form, light and shadow, and then you do the detail. Trying to fill overall just to get the background darkness. And then I'll go more darker. Yeah, so even the dark areas, we just do some random designs. So we did a lot of design work, but actually not visible due to lighting condition. Yeah, I'll stop here, guys. Maybe I'll finish it later and share it with you guys. It's already 4:20. Yeah, so that's the thing. So yeah, see how much darkness I've gone in the bottom. To that much darkness, you should go without having any hesitation. So, any important questions you guys have? So that's it, means do something like this. Out of 10, choose something like really complex like this. And show me. Any questions? Shall we stop here? I'll be just drawing till end of the day. Kusma?
Sir,
Yeah. Shall we stop here?
yes, sir. It's already like
Okay.
1.5
Yeah.
hours.
Cool. So let's stop here. So I'll share these pictures. As I told you, 10 rough drawings, 5 light and shadow separation. Out of 1 or 2, try for a good finishing like this. Yeah, I'll spend some more time in this weekend. I'll finish this off. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Kusuma. So see you guys on Monday. So we
Thank you,
have
sir.
enough time. Yeah, so we have enough time till Monday. Yeah, surprise me with an amazing piece of art. Already progressing well, but I really wanted to, like, see a wow kind of work. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I think everybody is sleeping.
Instead of asking, I know. So is the timing working in the evening? Is it really, if you're feeling sleepy or we need to change the time? I don't mind doing it in the morning also. Let me know.
Sir, evening is fine for me, sir.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So let's keep in the evenings. If anything, if anybody want to change, let's different timing. Okay.